What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be replacing, or rather reinstalling, my Kickstart assembly on my Tao Tao ATM 50A1. Stay tuned. Alright, so first we're going to have to go ahead and take off the CVT cover here. Got a few missing bolts. Sometimes these damn things will fall out while you're riding. Oh no, there we go. Now that I got this off, I'm going to go ahead and clean it out a little bit and we'll take it over to the table. Alright, definitely want to make sure we got a clean cover when we're putting this in. All of this dirty stuff inside there is belt dust and clutch dust, because the back pulley inside of the CVT is your clutch, and that does wear similar to brake pads and stuff. I need to get me another can of brake cleaner. I put it upside down this way. I'll show you in just a second, but I put it this way because there's actually a hole in the bottom and it'll drain out of that hole. Now it looks like we got a little bit of grease in there. I don't know if that's from when I had the Kickstart in before, or if we got a bearing issue or something, but nothing looked wet inside the case. So I think we're alright. It's probably just old grease from before. Alright, and you guys can see that little bottom vent there. That's to kind of keep the inside of the transmission cool. And most of the brake clean just drained right out through that hole in the bottom there. You kind of see it. So now I'm going to take this inside and I'm going to wipe it down a little bit with a rag. And we'll put it on the table and we'll get this Kickstart installed. Alright, so I got it cleaned up reasonably well, and the main area we're going to be working in is right here. And I'm putting this back in because I'm tired of jump starting my scooter, but I've had a lot of trouble with these in the past where they just constantly break on me, so I don't have high hopes for it, but it does usually work. It just doesn't last for very long, and you only get maybe 20 or 30 starts, maybe 50 starts out of it, and then it decides to break or do something stupid. I guess I should turn the camera over here and show you the parts we're working with. We got the lever, we've got a snap ring, and then those are actually supposed to be swapped. This goes under the snap ring. And then we've got these other components here for the other parts of the Kickstart. So I'm going to go ahead and set your camera back over here so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So the first thing we want to do is take this spring. I already cleaned these up reasonably well, the best that I could. And then I believe that the long spring... yeah, the long part of the spring, I believe, goes in like that. Or is it upside down? It's got to be upside down. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, there we go. Got it on there right. So this longer part with the hook on it goes there. Then we got our other hook here on top. And then I'm also going to go ahead and grab some grease. Grab us a little bit of that good old Ford Lincoln Mercury grease right there. I've literally had this thing of grease since high school. Crazy. But as far as I know, grease doesn't go bad, just like oil. I know there's some additives and whatnot inside that can go bad, but I don't believe that grease is bad as long as you As long as you don't let any debris or nasty shit or water or anything like that inside of it, I believe it should be fine. So we got a little grease in there. Okay. And then this little plastic ring here goes right over the top of this area. And if yours is any good, then it should fit on there fairly flush. It's going to have a little bit of play, but it shouldn't be extremely loose on there for sure. Now, we're going to take the main gear, and you'll notice that there's like a weld between the gears. I thought that was the craziest thing when I first started working on these, but it's actually done on purpose. It's actually meant to be a stopping mechanism to prevent it from going too far in one direction. So we're going to go ahead and put some grease on our gear here. And ultimately what we want is for this side of the gear to stop on that little tab there. So then we're going to take this little cutout here and we're going to put it on our spring right there. And we're going to try to spin it around and get it locked into place here. Get that lifted up. Okay, there we go, just like that. And we can turn it. And then we'll want to try to push it through a little more. Come on now. May need a little assistance from a rubber mallet. Wow, that sucker don't want to go. Interesting. Try to hit it with this guy. That's probably part of it too. The damn spring was all cocked out. That's what it was. If I adjusted the spring, it went right in. There we go. Some of that damn rubber mallet dust off of there. Now that we got that sticking up, you can kind of see that there's a little groove at the very bottom. It's kind of full of grease right now. Clean that out of there a little bit. And we want to take our washer here. We'll place that on top. And then this snap ring is going to go on over it. And we'll have to get some snap ring pliers to put that into place properly. So I'm going to go grab some of those real quick. Alright, so we got it in using these old shitty cheap Harbor Freight ones that I got because I was too lazy to run out to the van and grab some good ones. And that'll make sure that our whole assembly stays in place here. Now we can put the other part in. And I like to put a little bit of grease on these gears as well. I cleaned all the old grease out to the best of my ability. But I like to put a little bit of grease on there because, to be honest with you, these are just Chinese parts and I don't know if I trust them that well as far as the metal quality. So I like to protect it as much as I can. Put a little grease on there too because it's going to go inside this hole actually. And then I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say that there's supposed to be a washer underneath this, but maybe I'm tripping. And then before we push this down all the way, we want to, I'm going to put my lever on here for a second, and we want to turn the bottom gear enough to where the stopper, the weld, is past this gear here, because that's going to prevent it from going any farther down. And there we are, pretty much all set up. And whenever you push the kickstart, assuming that that stays in place, it's going to spin that. And then that's going to, this gear here on my thumb is going to touch against the starter Bendix. And that's what actually starts the engine, by kicking on this pedal here. Sorry, it's too close. I'm trying to hold everything together here. So, I think the last thing I'm going to do, try not to overdo it. I feel like I do tend to overdo it a little bit with this grease, but I'm going to put a little bit of grease on this moon gear as well. So that's pretty much installed at this point. The only other thing we need to do is fully install the pedal. There is a bolt for this, which, thinking about it, I'm not even sure what the hell I did with mine. I had every part but that, so I'm gonna have to find a bolt. But once I find that, I will go ahead and get everything put back on the scooter, and we'll see if she wants to kickstart. Alright, got all those bolts in hand tight. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it up and put the handle on. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put the handle on. And I don't know what the hell happened to my original bolt, but I found one that'll work. A lot of times when you buy these new, it comes on there like that. But I kind of like to have mine a tooth or two higher, just so it's a little bit easier to get to it when you're trying to use it. And this is pretty much just a pinch bolt, so it's going to hold that on there. I'm going to tighten that up. Hopefully this will fit. There we go. Make sure that's good and tight without overdoing it. Alright, let's see if it works. Give a little gas. Oh, almost right up. Oh, close. Very nice. Do a little 180. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to Andy's Auto.